Hello friends, India stands at an interesting crossroads today. The government of India has officially claimed the status of fourth largest economy in the world, beating Japan. Subsequent analysis and reports have challenged the accuracy of this claim, pointing out that it may be premature. The IMF's April 2025 World Economic Outlook projected India's nominal GDP for financial year 2025 at $3.909 trillion and Japan's GDP for 2024 at an estimated $4.026 trillion. This shows India as still the fifth largest economy. The IMF projects India to overtake Japan in late 2025. India's GDP is expected to reach $4.187 trillion compared to Japan's $4.186 trillion. But this is a forecast and not a current reality. And even then, the difference is minuscule. Niti Aayog member Arvind Virmani clarified that Subramaniam's statement was based on IMF projections for 2025, not current data, and that India is expected to become the fourth largest economy by the end of 2025, as I said earlier. The government continues to point to India's economic growth and its expected rise to number 4 regardless. Some media and public figures celebrated the milestone based on Subramaniam's statement. The debate centers on the timing and interpretation of IMF projections rather than a formal withdrawal of the claim. Taking the claim at its face value, let us ask, why do millions of citizens still face poverty, unemployment, and insufficient access to essential services, let alone resources? This paradox embodies modern India. We claim a booming economic growth, yet there are deep-rooted problems that limit societal progress. In 1991-92, the then Prime Minister, the late P.V. Narasimha Rao, and Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh laid a firm foundation for a dramatic improvement in India's economic landscape. India's Prime Minister, the late Dr. Manmohan Singh, took the economic liberalization to the next level later on. Consequently, the manufacturing sector has been growing at 9.9% in the 2023-24 financial year. The services sector continues to demonstrate remarkable resilience. India's information technology and business services now account for 8.1% of global exports. The country's GDP per capita in purchasing power parity terms increased to $10,233 in 2023. This growth elevated India's share of the global economy from 4% to 7.5%, with real GDP growth forecasted at 6.3% for 2025. However, this impressive aggregate growth masks a more complex reality. While India may have surpassed Japan in total economic output, Japan's per capita income of $33,000 exceeds India's $3,000 11-fold. This disparity highlights a fundamental truth. India's massive population of over 1.4 billion has contributed to its economic size. On the other hand, only 125 million Japanese have taken Japan to unprecedented prosperity. So, India's challenge does not involve growing the economy. It needs to ensure that growth translates into meaningful prosperity for individual citizens. India's income distribution reveals stark disparities that threaten the sustainability of its economic progress. The richest 1% of Indians control 22.6% of the national income and hold 40.1% of the nation's wealth. A 2021 Pew Research Center analysis found that 1.2 billion Indians fall into the lower income category. Only 66 million Indians are in the middle income bracket and a mere 2 million in the high income group. And this is really lopsided and this is unsustainable in the long run. These statistics paint a picture of an economy that, while growing fast, has not yet learned to share its benefits equitably. The top 10% of Indians own 80% of the nation's wealth, creating a society where economic opportunity remains concentrated among a relatively small elite. This concentration of wealth is not just a social concern. It represents a significant drag on economic potential as it limits domestic consumption and reduces the multiplier effects of economic growth. The rural-urban divide compounds these challenges. Rural areas, where nearly 70% of Indians still live, often lack the basic infrastructure, services, and opportunities that drive prosperity in urban centers. Low agricultural productivity traps many rural workers in subsistence farming. This offers little opportunity for economic advancement for a majority of Indian population. India's unemployment landscape presents another paradox. Official statistics report a low unemployment rate of 3.2% for 2022-23. But independent estimates suggest the reality is more disturbing. The rates are as high as 7% and urban youth unemployment is supposed to have reached 16.8%. This disconnect between these figures reflects the prevalence of underemployment. Informal work arrangements provide income but little security or opportunity for advancement. Perhaps more troubling is the quality of employment. About 90% of India's workforce operates in the informal sector, characterized by low wages, job insecurity, and limited or even no benefits. The COVID-19 pandemic worsened these challenges. It forced many workers to return to less productive agricultural jobs or rely on gig and contract work in the organized sector. Only 20% of the country's 600 million strong labor force is skilled enough to meet the industry's demand. It is 80% in developed nations. See the difference? This gap becomes apparent among educated youth. 65.7% of unemployed individuals in 2022 had received formal education but lacked the practical skills demanded by modern employers. India's education system struggles to meet the demands of a fast evolving economy. The literacy rate has increased from 52.2% in 1991 to 74.04% in 2011. However, there is a vast difference in quality and availability of education. Those in the lowest income bracket receive an average of only 2.8 years of education, while those in the highest receive 11.56 years of education on an average. A Pratham Foundation report found that 25% of children aged 14 to 18 years cannot read even simple text fluently. So, basic literacy remains an unfinished agenda. None of the Indian universities rank among the world's top 100. political meddling, old-fashioned teaching, not enough money, and weak industry connections between industry and educational institutions. This educational underperformance has real economic consequences. The global economy demands high skilled workers capable of navigating technological change and innovation. India's educational system struggles to produce graduates who would be ready for these challenges. The result is a workforce that, despite its size, cannot fully capitalize on the opportunities presented by global economic integration. Extreme poverty affects about 300 million Indians. Meanwhile, 65% lack proper sanitation and 25% have no electricity. Water shortages affect at least 600 million, and contaminated water causes 200,000 deaths yearly. Rural areas face the most significant challenges due to under-equipped health centers and insufficient basic services. The infrastructure deficit represents both a challenge and an opportunity paradoxically. India faces a $1.5 trillion infrastructure gap over the next decade. But addressing this need could drive significant economic growth while improving quality of life for millions of citizens and also generating more jobs. India is experiencing an outflow of wealthy, highly skilled individuals. A record 6,500 millionaires left India in 2023, surpassing any other nation in millionaire departures. This wasn't a one-year phenomenon. Actually, approximately 100,000 rich Indians have already left the country between 2014 and 2023. The wealthy aren't the only ones leaving. The US employs over 1 million Indian IT professionals, with thousands more employed in Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, and Germany. Student flow is equally revealing. The 2022-23 academic year saw over 268,000 Indian students seeking higher education abroad in science, technology, engineering, and business. The United States and the United Kingdom healthcare sectors reflect similar patterns, employing over 80,000 doctors from India. The migration of trained nurses abroad highlights India's failure to employ them within the country. This massive outflow of talent contradicts India's economic success story. India may claim to have become the world's fourth largest economy, but this growth has not translated into equal opportunities for all. There is an uneven distribution of education, wealth, and career prospects across the country. Job creation in high-skilled sectors has not kept pace with the rising aspirations of India's educated population. High-skilled Indian professionals are leaving because of bad governance and corruptions, among other reasons. And one more you can easily cite is the communal disturbances all over the country. Bureaucratic red tape continues to hamper innovation and business development. India's spending on research and development remains low, limiting opportunities for cutting-edge work. Academic institutions often lack the freedom and resources that researchers and professionals seek. These limitations show up in international rankings. India ranks 40th in the Global Innovation Index for 2023, trailing behind countries with much smaller economies. This suggests that while India excels in overall economic output, it still struggles to create the innovative, high-tech environment that attracts and retains top talent. India's economic growth creates both opportunities and responsibilities. Its large youth population can drive economic growth if given proper education and job opportunities. To achieve this, we need to overcome current barriers to inclusive growth. The education system requires substantial investment and reform, focusing not just on access but on quality and relevance to modern economic needs. Strengthening the research ecosystem through university industry partnerships could position India as an innovation leader rather than just a low cost provider of services. Infrastructure investment remains crucial. It can improve the economic efficiency and improve quality of life. Widespread access to healthcare and education, coupled with improved social protection, could distribute the benefits of economic growth more equitably. Of course, progressive taxation offers at least one path towards greater equity, with experts suggesting that wealth taxes could fund expanded public services and reduce inequality. Rural development programs need enhancement to bridge urban-rural divides, while manufacturing reforms could help shift surplus agricultural workers to more productive sectors. Above all, frequent communal disturbances have marred India's international image as a land of opportunity for entrepreneurs and investors. Not only are we unable to attract large-scale foreign investments, but our own high-value citizens are migrating to more stable and peaceful societies. India's journey towards becoming the world's fourth largest economy represents a remarkable achievement, no doubt in that. It reflects the ambition, talent, and resilience of its people. However, this milestone marks not an end but a beginning. And mind you, we have yet to reach that milestone. Officially, it might have been achieved, but in reality, we are just near it, not have crossed it. A far more complex challenge lies ahead. India needs to ensure that economic size translates into shared prosperity. Growth should be balanced with equity, efficiency with inclusion, and global competitiveness with domestic needs. GDP figures do not indicate economic prosperity. This we should realize. To achieve this, India must develop an inclusive economy by offering opportunity, security, and dignity to everyone. The foundation for this transformation exists. It already exists. Now comes the harder work of building upon it. For this, political will and vision are required. If you have liked my video, please do like, subscribe, comment and share. Thank you.